Hello everybody, I'm Sharpened Blade, and today just going to do a quick first impressions video of the Kizer Cormorant. This is the White Mountain Knives exclusive version. It has brown micarta handle scales and it is in 3V blade steel. Now these aren't available any longer, so you may be asking, why are you reviewing this, or why are you going to do a first impressions video? And simply answered, content. But these will be available on the secondary market, and also I feel like for the most part this, my future review should be able to be applied to the original versions, the normal versions of these. So let's just get into the first impressions. Action. Very fidgety. You have, of course, it is a button lock, so you have that way to deploy the knife. You have a flipper on the back, a front flipper, thumb hole, and so you can use, like I said, the button lock to deploy the knife. You can use the flipper, you can use the front flipper, which I always fail. You can reverse flick it, and you can which I also fail quite a bit, you can use your thumb. And there, usually when I do use my thumb to deploy the knife, it's a little too hard because I give it a little bit too much wrist, and there's extreme amount of lock stick. So, oh, whew. Anyways, it has a good action. It's kind of a springy detent, right? Because, well, basically the detent is spring pressure. So it's hard to have like a very crisp action on a button lock. It's tricky to dial in a detent with a button lock. And I say they do a pretty good job with this, especially for the price, $119. Even this with the upgraded materials, $119 USD for this. So that's a great price. And you can also, going back, I know I said it was out of stock, but you can go to the description of this video and click on the link, and you can sign up for email notification for this knife if it comes back in stock, which I hope it does. And you can use discount code SHARP10 to receive 10% off your order, plus free shipping in the US. And of course that code is for, in case you skipped ahead, that code is for White Mountain Knives, which this knife is from. Makes sense. So anyways, yeah, action is good. Action is solid. Very, very fidgety. I've had lots of fun fidgeting with this knife. The ergos are where it gets a little tricky. I don't find it overly comfortable. It doesn't feel my hand in the right places. And I'm going to try messing around with different grips on it, see if I can find, like, it's not too bad like this, choked up like that. However, I don't like having my finger that close to the button lock itself, especially since it sticks up a fair amount. Now that's in my left hand, of course, left-handed, I cut with my left hand. If you're right-handed, your fingers aren't going to be anywhere near that button lock, so you don't have to worry about that. But yeah, I just, like, if I keep my fingers back here away from the button lock, I feel like I'm really far away from the blade. So it works, but it's just, I don't know, not 100% comfortable with the knife in the grip. But it does feel really nice. The micarta feels really nice to the touch. They did a fantastic job on the milling on this. That pattern, I didn't like it when the knife first dropped, with the G10 model, the white and black G10. But I like it in this. There's not that huge contrast, so it doesn't stand out like a lot, but you still see the pattern, and it is cool looking. All the lines are really crisp. There's no like fraying anywhere. They did a fantastic job on the micarta. It's a fairly smooth micarta, but it feels nice. It doesn't feel cheap, so they did a nice job on this. Fit and finish overall is really well done. Centering is dead centered. Centering is dead centered. So yeah, can't complain about that. And it's cool that they did, I'll talk about this more in the review, but everything's inside the blade. The blade runs on the lock bar, the stop pin is fixed in place, and the blade runs around it when you open it. And the same with the, I don't know if this is actually showing anything or if I'm just randomly moving the knife around. But the lock bar goes through the blade too, so everything's all milled into the blade. So it's kind of cool the way they did that. You know, they didn't have to go through all that extra work, but it's nice that they did because it does look much cleaner. So anyways, the only other thing I have to say is when I first looked at the knife, I really appreciated the pocket clip. The fact that it's fairly short. It doesn't like take up too much of the knife. Some companies put way too long a pocket clip on their knives and it just looks weird. This looks more proportionate. I like that. However, there's not a lot of space here for material to get under. It's definitely not a hot spot because of that. That's nice that it's flattened out like that. But material has a hard time getting in there. Once it gets past here and underneath this little hump here, there's lots of room up here for material, so it slides in easy once you get past this into your pocket, I mean. But it's just getting it underneath this. So I usually just pull up on it and then slide in my pocket. The only thing with that is since it's a short pocket clip, there's a lot of spring tension on here. So what you'll have to do is what I did. You just pull on the pocket clip, bend it out a little bit, relieve some of that tension, and you can slide it into your pocket a lot easier. Simple fix, but you know, just something to be aware of. I'll get into this more with the review, but for now, this is just my first impressions. Fairly positive experience with it thus far, but yeah, we'll see how it goes over the next few days, and I'll try to get a review of for this next week. Like I said before, there'll be a link to this in the description of this video. With all that being said, thanks so much for watching. Take care.